So let's talk about organic. So again, I'm not talking about ads, but what works in terms of content. So, and again, I have builders, but this also is if you're a manufacturer or if you are in the related business. So you want a mix of content. Um, you want 80% non-promotional, 20% you can talk about yourself. Visual, I will say, like, if you're modular, educational content's really important because there are so many misconceptions about modular home building. People think it's a mobile home, it's cookie cutter. We know that is not the case today. And, inspirational quotes, you can be engaging, contests, giveaways sometimes can be kind of fun. If there's something trending going on that sort of naturally fits into your business, then you can certainly share that. So this is just a nice framework. After, usually what we do is we do an editorial calendar. We like to look at what are the holidays going on, what's going on, if we're working with a builder in a certain area, maybe there's even, things you can share about the community. Maybe there's special parades or festivals depending on the time of the year, that kind of thing. You should share that. You don't want to make it all about you. Get over yourself. Nobody wants nonstop promotion where you're talking about yourself all the time. Okay, so you want a nice mix of content. So homes, as I mentioned, I don't think I need to tell you this, but they are very, very visual. And people love looking at interior, exteriors. I mean, HGTV and all these famous, home influencers would not exist if they weren't showing the beautiful homes, right? Drone footage, time lapse videos could be kind of cool. If you're modular, we actually recommend more pictures of homes. Although, if you are trying to reach other builders, showing your home sets, the crane and what goes on at a home set day could be very interesting. And I think that's still interesting to consumers, but I wouldn't focus on that because they want to see the end result. They want to see themselves in the home you're building. Storytelling. So if you have any clients that are willing to share their stories, we like to call it real people, real stories. Other people love to, see that and read about it because they'll identify. So maybe you're an empty nester and now you're moving into your dream home and it's kind of a downsize. Like if you can get somebody to share their story, that's huge. And also, if you can get them to share it with their friends, they have over 300 friends, that can be a fantastic source of referrals. So, one thing we recommend is while you're building a home, if you can take some pictures along the way and maybe give that as a present to your client at the end, um, and then, ask them, would you mind if we share it on our Facebook page and tag you? And if they don't want you to, obviously you wouldn't do that. Or maybe if they say, well, I'm not really comfortable with that, well, maybe you wouldn't mind sharing it on your own private page. So just think about that. Over 300 people, a lot of them probably live in this geographic area, are going to see this beautiful home and the end result and your happy clients. And that is referral gold, right? So it's a really powerful source of referrals. As I mentioned, if you're in modular, education is really important. Educating people about, it's faster, the quality, the energy efficiency, the sustainability, because that often comes out, especially younger clients. That is a huge consideration. And, you just really want to dispel any myths around modular home building. So we like to say share the dream, not just, again, talking about yourself or even the house, but you can also, the dream of living in a community. This post on the lower right is a local realtor near where I live. And, this was an interesting article that came out about safety. And these are the towns that she operates in. And so it's a selling point, right? So if you, where you build has wonderful schools and good news comes out about those schools, put that on your Facebook page, share the article from the patch or, your local newspaper. That can be very powerful. So again, you're not just talking about yourself, you're sharing content that a viewer might be interested in. You're not just trying to sell, even though you kind of are selling in a very indirect way, but that really works better on social media. Um, yeah, so just useful information. Other ideas, featured home of the month, of the week, educational content. We recommend blogging because that is going to help you with SEO and the search engines finding you. So as you write your blog posts, you can share those and make sure your blog posts are very educational and informative. Personalize your company if you have staff photos or maybe you've done a volunteer event together. People love to see that. Or even just on site, in the factory, or if you're a stick builder, on site building a home, or, just taking pictures and making the process seem real. People like to work with other people. They like to see who's behind the company, and social media is a great way to personalize your company. You can also just offer somebody a happy, Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever the holiday is. Um, Quotes, maybe there's some inspirational quotes you can share. So again, you want to keep it interesting. And another one that, if you are a manufacturer and you're offering factory tours, that's definitely something you can put on social media as well. Memes and humor work really well. Again, make sure you purchase anything like this. If you are going to use something, you want to go to the stock photo company and purchase it, or a cartoon stock, that kind of thing. But these do work really well, and they are available if you can set up those types of accounts. Other tips, check out your competition. You can do that right now. Go take a look. Who are your top two competitors? Go look at their Facebook page. How many followers do they have compared to you? What posts are resonating. You can actually even go, if you go to the About section and you go to page transparency, you can actually even see if they're doing any advertising. And Meta has a huge library of ads, and you can go in and actually see what those look like. They're not going to tell you if the ads are working, but you can at least get some ideas. And it's always good to understand what the competition is doing and make sure that you are a step ahead. Be social, personal messages, even just happy weekend. Monitor your comments. Don't just post and then never go back. Make sure you see what people are saying. And if there's anything inappropriate, which sometimes does happen, you can remove and delete those comments, and you should. I think housing and the related industries do not tend to attract trolls. I think it's kind of rare, but if you do see something like that, you should remove it. If it keeps happening, you can put it into your About section, like what your code of conduct is for your page. But again, I do think in this industry, it seems to be very rare. Just a few other facts, but short form video, so they call them reels. They have to be under 90 seconds. Those typically get 2.5 times the engagement. So I'm not saying you should do 100% reels. You want to you have some variety, but like this little video on the right, you could put your home, something like that. Those tend to do really well. If you have long form content, like maybe you have a podcast or you have longer videos that you use on YouTube, you can take those and, take some short clips, and that works really well on social media. Facebook is a search engine, just like every, other search engine. It's a little bit different, and sometimes we don't think of it that way, but people are always searching. And so you want to make sure, like if you have a hashtag, you have tags, that you put those underneath your post and think about what people might be searching for, you know, homes in Quincy, Massachusetts, or something like that. You can have some posts where you would maybe use that type of sentence in your or phrase in your post. If you have video and photos, you want to upload them directly. If you can, the algorithm rewards that versus sharing off of YouTube. Sometimes it's just easier to share off of YouTube, but if you do have the time, you want to upload them directly to Facebook. Um, and feature real customers if you can, if they'll let you, that's great. That stuff does really, really well. And then if you have any micro influencers in your area, if you're a builder, maybe there's designers, kitchen designers. Uh, there might be a way to partner and tag and share their work, and they could share your work, and you can reach each other's networks.